There are moments in life when a single idea becomes a seed that can change everything. Imagine discovering a simple yet profound plant, often overlooked yet carrying the power to remind you of your inner abundance, your peace, and your limitless potential for success. Today, inspired by the wisdom of Deepak Chopra, we awaken to the truth that real transformation begins not in the world around us, but in the quiet garden within us. This secret plant becomes a symbol of growth, a symbol of clarity, and a symbol of the wealth that flows when we align our actions with our deepest purpose. There is a moment in every life when we begin to sense that something within us is waiting to awaken and waiting to be acknowledged and waiting to be given the light it deserves. This inner presence is the secret plant that symbolizes your deepest potential and your most authentic strength, and the part of you that has been quietly calling for attention. When you recognize this presence, you begin to understand that greatness is not something that arrives from the outside, but something that grows from within. You realize that the seed of transformation is already planted in the soil of your consciousness, and it waits only for your willingness to nurture it. This awareness becomes the first spark that begins the journey toward abundance and peace and true success. It all starts with the courage to look within and honor the garden that lives in your soul. When you decide to discover this inner garden, you learn that growth is not a sudden explosion, but a gradual unfolding of who you truly are. Much like a young plant emerging from the earth, your potential rises when you give it patience and space and compassion. This gentle unfolding teaches you that the pace of progress does not define your worth, because every sacred seed must break through darkness before it reaches the light. You begin to see that the soil of your past struggles can nourish your future strength when you stop judging your journey. In this realization, you find peace because you know that every part of your story has prepared the ground for your awakening. Your inner garden becomes a sanctuary where transformation feels natural and deeply aligned with your purpose. As you explore this sacred space within, you notice how often you overlooked your own brilliance and your own courage and your own ability to create change. The world may have taught you to search outside yourself for validation and direction, but your inner plant reminds you to turn inward for clarity. You start to see that the answers you seek, the ones about purpose, love, abundance, and peace, have always been planted inside your awareness. You simply needed the quiet confidence to listen and the stillness to receive what your soul has been whispering for years. This discovery empowers you because it reveals that nothing outside of you can limit your growth unless you allow it. Your inner garden becomes a place of reclaimed ownership over your life and your destiny. When you choose to nurture this inner plant, you begin to release old patterns that suffocated your growth and drained your energy. Negative beliefs that once felt permanent loosen their grip when exposed to the light of self-awareness. Fears that once controlled your decisions begin to dissolve because you recognize that they were only shadows cast by forgotten potential. Each moment of presence becomes like water feeding your inner seed and encouraging it to rise with new strength. You start to understand that nurturing your inner garden requires consistent care and allowing yourself to evolve without resistance. This process teaches you that you are both the gardener and the blooming creation. The beauty of this journey is that your inner plant does not demand perfection, but only your willingness to grow. There will be days when doubt appears like clouds blocking the sun, yet even then your seed continues to gather strength. There will be moments when you question your path, but still the roots of your potential deepen quietly within you. Every challenge becomes a natural part of your development because even storms contribute to the richness of the soil. You learn that setbacks do not uproot your purpose, because purpose is embedded in the very essence of your being. Understanding this truth gives you resilience that shines from the inside out. As this plant continues to grow, it begins to reflect the qualities you cultivate in your daily life. When you practice gratitude, your plant stretches toward abundance with renewed energy. When you practice compassion, your plant produces the soft fragrance of peace and understanding. When you commit to personal growth, your plant expands, offering shade and comfort to the parts of you still learning to heal. Every intentional thought, every grounded breath, and every mindful action becomes nourishment for this inner creation. Your life gradually transforms because you no longer grow by accident, but by conscious design. In discovering your inner garden, you become aware that the world around you responds to the energy you cultivate within. When you radiate clarity, opportunities begin to align with your path as if drawn by an invisible force. When you embody peace, relationships blossom with greater harmony and mutual respect. When you express confidence, doors open that once seemed impossible to reach. You realize that outer abundance is a reflection of inner stability and inner trust and inner strength. This understanding allows you to move through life with grounded certainty and empowered intention. Your inner plant becomes a teacher guiding you to embrace the present moment without rushing toward the future or clinging to the past. The present becomes the fertile ground where your awareness expands and where your purpose reveals itself more clearly each day. You begin to see that life is not measured by how much you accomplish, but by how deeply you live and how fully you experience each breath. This shift creates a profound sense of peace and a gentle confidence in your own unfolding. You stop comparing your growth to others because you understand that every seed blooms according to its own season. This acceptance frees you from anxiety and invites you to grow with joy rather than pressure. As you continue nurturing your inner potential, you discover that even silence becomes a powerful ally. In silence, you recognize the quiet rhythms of your heart and the subtle movements of your intuition. You find wisdom in stillness because it allows the noise of doubt to fade and the voice of truth to emerge. This truth guides your next steps with clarity and alignment and deep purpose. You no longer depend on external approval because your direction comes from an inner compass that never misleads. This inner guidance becomes a pillar of stability in a world that often feels unpredictable. Your inner garden teaches you that fulfillment comes from growth, not comparison, and from purpose, not pressure. You begin to shift from trying to prove yourself to simply expressing who you truly are. This transition removes unnecessary weight from your spirit and frees you to live with authenticity. Authenticity becomes the water that nourishes the deepest layers of your being. As you live more honestly, your plant grows with greater brilliance, reflecting the harmony within you. Its presence reminds you that peace begins with embracing your true self. The more you honor this inner plant, the more you realize that every choice is a seed planted into the soil of your future. When you choose courage, you plant the seed of strength. When you choose kindness, you plant the seed of connection. When you choose faith, you plant the seed of possibility. Each choice shapes the landscape of your inner world and eventually influences the reality around you. This awareness inspires you to choose with wisdom and love. You also learn that nurturing your inner garden requires releasing what no longer serves your growth. Old fears, judgments, and limitations fall away like dried leaves that once clung to your branches. You release them not with frustration, but with gratitude because they helped you learn resilience. With every release, new space is created for clarity and creativity and hope. This openness allows new opportunities to enter your life with ease. You discover that letting go is not loss, but preparation for expansion. As your plant grows stronger, it becomes a symbol of your evolving identity and your rising awareness. You notice that the more you invest in your inner world, the more your outer world begins to shift. People who resonate with your growth appear in your path, while those who drain your spirit naturally fade away. Circumstances begin to align with your intentions like puzzle pieces falling into place. This flow does not happen by chance, but by the magnetic energy of a mind and heart in harmony. It reveals that your inner garden is a powerful force of creation. With each passing day, you recognize that your true wealth lies not in possessions, but in awareness. Awareness of your strength, awareness of your peace, awareness of your purpose. This recognition fills you with a calm confidence that cannot be disrupted by external events. You find joy not in what you accumulate, but in who you are becoming. This inner richness radiates outward, creating opportunities, connections, and experiences that elevate your life. It becomes clear that abundance is a natural reflection of an awakened spirit. Your growing plant shows you that growth requires both light and shadow. It teaches you to honor your victories while also embracing your struggles as part of your sacred journey. Instead of fearing challenges, you start to view them as opportunities to deepen your roots. You no longer resist discomfort because you know it strengthens your character and expands your wisdom. This balanced understanding helps you navigate life with grace and maturity. You become grounded yet open, resilient yet compassionate, strong yet gentle. As your internal landscape flourishes, your actions begin to reflect a new level of empowerment. You show up differently because you are no longer driven by fear, but by purpose. Your decisions become intentional, guided by the vision of who you know you can be. You begin to take steps that once felt impossible because now they feel aligned with your truth. This alignment increases your confidence tenfold because you are walking the path of authenticity. Success becomes not an external chase, but an internal realization. The presence of this inner plant continually reminds you that you are connected to a deeper source of wisdom. This source fuels your imagination and your intuition and your ability to create possibilities where none existed before. It strengthens your sense of purpose and helps you recognize the unique gifts you bring to the world. You begin to appreciate your own voice, your own story, and your own journey. You understand that your individuality is not a limitation, but a sacred contribution. This understanding allows your growth to become a celebration rather than a struggle. Over time, you realize that nurturing your inner garden is the foundation for every form of success you will ever achieve. Success becomes a natural outcome of inner clarity and inner peace and inner commitment. It emerges effortlessly because it is supported by authenticity rather than pressure. You learn that the more aligned you are with your inner plant, the more the universe aligns with you. This synchronicity creates opportunities that feel like miracles, yet are simply reflections of your awakened state. You discover that success is not something you chase, but something you grow. Your inner plant becomes a lifelong companion, teaching you to remain grounded even as you rise. It reminds you to stay humble even as you succeed, and to remain present even as you dream bigger dreams. It guides you to move forward with trust and patience and unwavering courage. Every stage of your growth adds new depth to your spirit and new meaning to your journey. You become more aware of your potential with each passing day. You walk with purpose because you know who you are becoming. In the end, the secret plant within you stands tall as a symbol of your resilience, your clarity, and your endless capacity for transformation. It reflects the journey you have taken from uncertainty to awareness and from doubt to self-trust. It reveals the truth that everything you seek already exists within you, waiting to be awakened. This realization becomes your strength, your peace, and your guide toward a life of abundance. You now understand that the greatest success is found by nurturing your inner world first. Let your inner garden continue to grow, and let it lead you toward your destined greatness. Peace is the soil in which every form of abundance grows, and the moment you choose to cultivate inner peace, you activate a powerful shift that transforms your entire life from the inside outward. When your mind becomes still, your energy becomes focused, and your heart becomes open to possibilities that once seemed distant or unreachable. You begin to understand that peace is not passive and not fragile, but a force that strengthens your courage and elevates your awareness. This peaceful state becomes the gateway through which clarity enters and through which confusion dissolves without resistance. You are able to see your path with new eyes because the noise that once distorted your vision no longer holds power. By cultivating peace, you create the perfect environment in which true abundance can flourish naturally and effortlessly. In this journey, you learn that cultivating peace is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of a steady and grounded spirit even in uncertain times. You begin to notice that when you choose calmness over reaction, your ability to make wise decisions expands greatly. You no longer feel pulled in every direction because inner stillness becomes the anchor that keeps you centered and focused. With this anchor, you respond to life rather than merely react to it, and this simple shift invites opportunities aligned with your purpose. Your energy becomes magnetic, because peace radiates a quiet confidence that draws supportive people and meaningful experiences into your life. This inner calm becomes your greatest strength because it remains unshaken even when circumstances around you fluctuate. As you allow peace to grow within you, it starts dissolving the mental clutter that once blurred your sense of direction and drained your motivation. You begin releasing thoughts rooted in fear, doubt, and scarcity because they can no longer survive in the presence of a peaceful mind. You create space in your consciousness for clarity and creativity and intuition to rise without obstruction. This newfound clarity becomes the foundation for abundance because it allows you to make aligned choices with certainty and trust. The world around you begins to reflect this inner clarity through improved relationships, new ideas, and unexpected opportunities. You discover that peace is not simply a feeling but a powerful tool that multiplies your ability to create success. Peace opens the doorway to gratitude, and gratitude becomes the silent engine that attracts abundance into your life with remarkable consistency. When your heart is peaceful, you naturally recognize blessings that you once overlooked, and this recognition amplifies everything good in your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already growing and expanding within you. This shift creates a continuous cycle of attraction because what you appreciate naturally expands and becomes more vibrant. Through gratitude, you begin to see life as a gift, and this perspective invites more moments worthy of appreciation. Peace and gratitude together create an energetic harmony that pulls wealth, success, and fulfillment toward you effortlessly. As peace deepens in your heart, it strengthens your emotional resilience, allowing you to rise beyond setbacks without collapsing into frustration or fear. You begin to see challenges as temporary experiences rather than permanent barriers, and this perspective empowers you to move forward with grace. Peace gives you the strength to stay calm when difficulties arise, and that calmness opens pathways to solutions that were previously hidden. Your mind becomes a source of wisdom rather than chaos, and your emotions become allies rather than obstacles. This resilience allows you to remain grounded even when life feels uncertain, because you trust in your ability to navigate any circumstance. With peace as your foundation, you become unstoppable not through force, but through unwavering inner stability. Cultivating peace allows you to connect more deeply with your intuition, which becomes a guiding light that leads you toward abundance in every form. When the mind is noisy, intuition cannot be heard, but when peace prevails, its voice becomes steady, clear, and unmistakably wise. This inner guidance helps you recognize opportunities aligned with your purpose and avoid paths that drain your energy. You begin trusting your inner knowing with confidence because it consistently directs you toward choices that elevate your life. Intuition fueled by peace becomes a powerful compass that points you toward abundance with remarkable accuracy. You realize that the wiser part of you always knew the way forward, and peace simply cleared the path to hear it. Peace transforms your relationships because it shifts the way you communicate, connect, and respond to others. You begin approaching interactions with openness rather than defensiveness, and this creates deeper understanding and stronger bonds. Conflict becomes easier to navigate because you no longer feel threatened by differing perspectives and can respond with patience instead of tension. Your presence becomes calming and uplifting, and people naturally feel safe and grounded when they are around you. As your relationships strengthen, they create a supportive environment that nurtures your dreams and encourages your growth. The harmony within you begins shaping the harmony around you, and abundance enters through these meaningful connections. When you cultivate peace, you stop wasting emotional energy on worry and fear and redirect that energy toward creativity, purpose, and inspired action. Your mind becomes a fertile space where new ideas emerge easily because they are no longer buried beneath stress. You discover the ability to focus deeply and commit fully to the goals that matter most. This focused energy accelerates your progress because it is free from the distractions that once slowed you down. Your motivation becomes steady and sustainable because it is fueled by calm clarity rather than pressure. As a result, success becomes a natural outcome of your peaceful and purposeful actions. Peace helps you release the urge to compare yourself with others, because comparison disrupts your sense of worth and steals your joy. Instead, you begin valuing your own journey and trusting your own pace without feeling the need to compete. You recognize that abundance is not limited and that your growth does not diminish anyone else's potential. This mindset frees you from envy and scarcity because you understand that life expands for everyone when alignment replaces comparison. You celebrate your progress with confidence, knowing that you are becoming the person you were meant to be. This inner acceptance strengthens your peace and amplifies your ability to attract prosperity with ease. As you nurture peace, you also learn the importance of releasing emotional burdens that prevent abundance from flowing into your life. You let go of resentment because it poisons the spirit and blocks the energy of success. You release regret because holding on to the past limits your ability to create a powerful future. You free yourself from guilt because it weighs down your confidence and hides your true worth. Through this release, your heart becomes lighter and your spirit becomes more open to receiving good things. Peace becomes the cleansing force that purifies your inner world and prepares it for greater abundance. Your peaceful energy begins influencing your environment and the way life responds to you on a daily basis. People approach you with respect because your calmness inspires trust and your presence encourages harmony. Opportunities arrive with greater consistency because a peaceful mind notices chances that a stressed mind easily overlooks. You attract situations that match your energy because the universe responds directly to the vibration you carry. Peace becomes a magnet that draws success toward you without strain or struggle. Through this energy, you begin realizing that abundance is more about alignment than effort. Cultivating peace requires practicing awareness, which helps you stay present and grounded instead of feeling overwhelmed by the future or the past. You learn to observe your thoughts without letting them control your emotions or shape your identity. This awareness gives you the power to choose your response rather than surrender to automatic reactions. The more present you become, the more capable you are of making decisions that support your goals. Presence strengthens your ability to remain calm even during pressure and uncertainty. Through awareness, peace becomes a natural state rather than an occasional moment. With peace comes the ability to forgive yourself for past mistakes because you finally understand that regret does not serve your growth. You begin treating yourself with compassion instead of criticism, and this shift softens your heart and strengthens your spirit. You no longer punish yourself for not knowing what you know now because you recognize that growth requires patience. This self-forgiveness creates emotional freedom, and emotional freedom is essential for attracting abundance. When you release self-judgment, you make room for confidence, purpose, and decisive action. Through peace, you begin rebuilding your relationship with yourself on a foundation of love and understanding. Peace also awakens your ability to appreciate small moments, which often contain the greatest sources of joy and inspiration. You find beauty in silence and meaning in simplicity and strength in stillness. These small moments nurture your spirit and replenish your energy more than any external achievement ever could. You begin valuing each breath, each sunrise, each act of kindness as part of your journey toward abundance. This sense of presence expands your awareness and deepens your connection to life itself. Through this connection, you attract experiences that reflect joy, harmony, and gratitude. Peace empowers you to act from a place of clarity rather than desperation, and this difference shapes the outcome of every choice you make. When you pursue goals with desperation, you push against life and create resistance that slows your progress. But when you move with calm intention, you align with life and allow opportunities to unfold naturally. Your actions become more effective because they come from a grounded and intentional place. You stop forcing outcomes and start trusting the process, which invites abundance with greater flow. Through peace, you learn that alignment is far more powerful than force. As your peaceful energy grows, you begin to attract wealth not only in material forms, but also in mental, emotional, and spiritual ways. You cultivate a wealth of confidence, a wealth of clarity, and a wealth of resilience. You gather experiences that enrich your heart and knowledge that empowers your mind. Opportunities expand because you are no longer blocked by anxiety or doubt. You begin building a life rooted in purpose rather than fear, and purpose naturally leads to prosperity. This multidimensional wealth becomes the true expression of a peaceful and abundant life. Peace teaches you to honor your own worth and to trust that you deserve good things without needing to prove your value. You stop undervaluing your gifts and begin offering them to the world with certainty and pride. This shift attracts people who see your worth clearly and support your growth wholeheartedly. You begin expecting abundance not from entitlement but from inner knowing. This expectation shifts your energy into a field of receiving, and life begins sending you what aligns with your worth. Peace becomes the foundation of a life built on self-respect and confident expectation. As peace strengthens your spirit, it also enhances your ability to stay consistent with your goals and dreams. You are no longer pulled off course by stress or emotional turbulence because calmness keeps your vision steady. You commit to your growth with patience because you understand that success blooms over time. You honor your progress even when results seem slow because you know that every aligned step matters. This consistency attracts opportunities that match your dedication and perseverance. Through peace, you develop the discipline required to turn dreams into reality. Through all of this, you discover that peace is not just a state of mind, but a pathway toward abundance, harmony, and deep fulfillment. It transforms your thoughts, your emotions, your relationships, and your entire approach to life. It becomes the silent guide that leads you toward the highest version of yourself. In choosing peace, you choose prosperity, and in choosing calmness, you choose clarity. Your life expands because your spirit expands, and abundance flows because your heart is open. Let peace continue to guide you toward a life filled with wealth, harmony, and limitless success. Success blossoms through consistent care, and the moment you understand this truth, you unlock a level of power that transforms everything you touch. You begin to realize that success is not a sudden miracle and not a burst of luck, but the steady result of choices made with intention and commitment. Each step you take becomes a seed planted in the soil of your destiny, and every action nourishes the growth of your dreams. This realization frees you from expecting immediate results because you understand that slow growth is still growth, and patient progress still leads to greatness. You start valuing consistency over perfection because perfect moments are rare, but consistent effort can be chosen every single day. In this choice, your future begins to bloom in ways you once only imagined. The journey of consistent care teaches you that success is built through small actions repeated with devotion rather than grand gestures attempted only once. You notice that meaningful progress emerges from doing the simple things with presence and doing them even when motivation fades. You begin to lean into discipline instead of waiting for inspiration because discipline acts as the roots that support your growth. Through this practice, you become unstoppable because your actions no longer depend on emotions or temporary enthusiasm. You keep moving forward with a calm and steady mind, and that steady movement leads you closer to your goals each day. This is the essence of care that transforms dreams into achievements. As you continue nurturing your path, you learn that consistency builds trust within yourself, and trust is essential for lasting success. Every day you show up becomes evidence that you are committed to your own future and willing to invest in it fully. This self-trust strengthens your confidence because you no longer doubt your ability to follow through. With every action, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and reliable and worthy of success. Your inner dialogue shifts from uncertainty to empowerment, and this mental shift influences every decision you make. In this state, consistency becomes a natural expression of who you are becoming. Success also requires understanding that growth cannot be rushed and cannot be forced because every dream has its own divine season of unfolding. You learn to honor the timing of your journey without comparing it to the timelines of others. You realize that patience is not waiting helplessly, but preparing actively while trusting the process. This preparation includes developing skills, strengthening your mindset, and aligning your actions with your purpose. By honoring the pace of your own development, you create a steady foundation that supports long-term success. Your journey becomes peaceful because you no longer demand shortcuts for something meant to be meaningful. Through consistent care, you gain clarity because each step reveals the next, and every effort uncovers a new layer of understanding. You stop feeling overwhelmed by the entire journey because you focus on the progress happening right now. This focus keeps you grounded and prevents fear from taking control of your thoughts. You begin to see that clarity grows through action, not contemplation, and through movement, not hesitation. Each day of practice strengthens your vision until success becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Your sense of direction deepens through living the process instead of merely imagining it. Consistency helps you recognize that failure is not a sign to stop, but an invitation to refine your approach. You begin to embrace mistakes as feedback rather than evidence of inadequacy. This mindset frees you to continue forward without fear of imperfection, because you understand that every attempt teaches you something valuable. You learn that adjusting your path is part of nurturing your growth, just as a gardener adjusts sunlight, water, and care. With this understanding, failure loses its power and becomes a natural part of your progress. Your resilience strengthens, and you move forward with renewed clarity and courage. As you nurture your goals, you also begin eliminating habits that drain your energy and replacing them with habits that fuel your vision. You understand that growth requires letting go of distractions that pull you away from your purpose. This may include releasing old routines, environments, or patterns that no longer support the person you are becoming. Each time you choose alignment over distraction, you reinforce the foundation of your success. This intentional living becomes a form of daily care that protects your energy and directs it toward what truly matters. Through these choices, you shape a life that reflects your highest potential. Consistent care also means embracing long-term thinking rather than seeking immediate gratification. You begin valuing investments that produce lasting results even if they take time to flourish. This mindset separates dreamers from achievers because achievers understand that deep roots create strong branches. You stop chasing outcomes that sparkle briefly and start building achievements that endure. With this perspective, you direct your energy into actions that contribute to your future rather than satisfy temporary urges. Your success becomes steady because it is built on purpose rather than impulsive decisions. As you walk this path, you learn the importance of showing up even when the journey feels repetitive, because repetition creates mastery. Mastery allows you to perform with ease, confidence, and excellence, and this excellence attracts opportunities that match your skill. You realize that exceptional results come from ordinary actions practiced consistently. This truth empowers you because it shows that greatness is accessible to anyone willing to commit. You stop searching for shortcuts because you understand that repetition is the path to brilliance. Every day of practice becomes part of your transformation into the person you aspire to be. To maintain consistency, you begin nurturing your environment because environment influences your energy and your energy influences your results. You surround yourself with people who support your growth and distance yourself from negativity that drains your motivation. Your surroundings become a reflection of your goals, and this alignment strengthens your commitment. You create spaces that inspire focus, clarity, and productivity. This supportive environment becomes a silent partner in your success journey. With it, you rise more easily because your surroundings lift you rather than hold you down. You also learn to care for your physical and emotional well-being, because a healthy mind and body fuel sustained success. You realize that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot achieve greatness while neglecting your inner balance. Rest becomes a tool for growth rather than a sign of weakness. Self-care becomes nourishment that strengthens your ability to show up consistently. You honor your limits and listen to your needs without guilt. This balance allows you to pursue success with energy, enthusiasm, and longevity. Consistency teaches you humility because you understand that greatness grows quietly in moments when no one is watching. You begin valuing the unseen efforts that shape your character and strengthen your foundation. These quiet moments build discipline, resilience, and focus, which are essential for lasting success. You stop needing external validation because you recognize the importance of inner commitment. Your motivation becomes internal, driven by purpose rather than approval. Through this humility, your success becomes deeply anchored and unshakable. As your consistent care continues, your confidence begins transforming into certainty. You reach a point where you no longer wonder whether success will happen because your daily actions guarantee it. This certainty changes your energy and allows you to move with assurance and strength. People feel this certainty and respond to it with trust and respect. Opportunities come to you more naturally because certainty radiates power and magnetism. Your journey becomes smoother not because challenges disappear, but because your belief becomes unbreakable. With consistency, you learn the importance of celebrating progress and honoring small victories along the way. These moments of recognition energize your spirit and remind you that every step is meaningful. Celebrating progress prevents burnout and strengthens your emotional resilience. It allows you to appreciate the journey instead of waiting for a distant destination to feel fulfilled. This gratitude keeps your motivation alive and encourages deeper commitment. You begin realizing that joy is found not only in achieving success, but in becoming the person capable of achieving it. Every day of consistent care sharpens your awareness of your purpose, and your purpose becomes the guiding force behind your actions. You no longer feel lost because you are rooted in a direction that aligns with your heart and your spirit. This alignment gives you a powerful sense of meaning that carries you through difficult moments. Purpose becomes the light that keeps you moving forward even when the road feels uncertain. With purpose, you remain focused, clear, and committed to your highest vision. This devotion transforms your journey into something sacred and deeply fulfilling. As you cultivate this steady path, you discover that success is not an endpoint, but a continuous unfolding of growth and evolution. Each achievement becomes a stepping stone towards something greater. You no longer cling to outcomes because you understand that your journey is an ongoing evolution. This mindset keeps you adaptable and open to new possibilities. You embrace growth as a lifelong practice rather than a temporary challenge. Through this mindset, your life becomes a constant expansion of potential. In the end, success blossoms because you cared for it consistently with intention, patience, and unwavering devotion. You nurtured your dreams the same way a gardener nurtures a precious plant with love, commitment, and belief in its eventual bloom. You honored the process even when it felt slow and trusted the journey even when results were not visible. This devotion created a powerful momentum that carried you toward your highest achievements. You became the architect of your own destiny through daily acts of alignment. Let your consistent care continue to guide you as you rise into the fullness of your success in the end. This entire journey reminds you that everything you seek begins within you and grows through the choices you make every single day. The secret plant becomes a symbol of your awakening, your peace, and your steady rise toward success. When you discover your inner garden, you activate the power already living inside your spirit. When you cultivate peace, you open the gates for abundance to enter your life with grace. When you commit to consistent care, you transform dreams into living realities rooted in purpose and clarity. Let this truth guide your steps forward and allow your inner garden to bloom into the life you are destined to live.